Marvin Marcano by
Hey, how you going?
the original Double M.
I'll need to, give me a sec.
Yeah, no problem. I'm
I'll
just
need
glad
to,
that it actually connected.
yeah, I'll need to get like my tripod or something. I can't hold this thing.
No, I understand. Go ahead. Take a minute now.
Yeah, so,
It's not like I expecting guests to be on on the thing. This is just going to be recorded and saved, so not to worry.
okay. All
Yeah,
right, cool. Give me a
go ahead.
sec. Let's see what I could use here.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just give you a pro tip. Sometime when I was doing my first live stream, my battery was dying like really fast, and I didn't know, and the stream almost cut from my side. So if it is that you may have problems with your battery charge, you should plug in your phone to charge one
Sorry, I would not have heard that.
But you should plug in your phone to charge if it is your battery is die fast.
Mm, we'll see. I don't think it should be that
Yeah.
bad, but okay. This one down. Maybe I'll use my tripod.
Mm. So much technical difficulties today.
Well, I guess it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, yeah, all things is happening.
I'm sure we'd have been able to do it on my computer, so it already set up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this Facebook Live thing though, because when you're on Instagram, it's so much easier. So I could control who I'm adding to the live stream,
Mm-hmm.
instead of guests asking to join. You know.
I don't see most of my house. Just,
That's right.
just kind of get your bearings. Just a little bit because I'm just kind of touching this thing here.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time. Take your time.
Because I really don't want to be holding this thing for like. We don't want to be holding this thing for.
No, I understand. I understand.
Just to see if I can get it down.
So,
Just
you hear me good, right?
yeah. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'll
All
plug
right,
in my
great.
headset. Just want to kind of get a
I
gauge.
have some I have some noise in my area in a way, so I hope any live stream holds up pretty good. I haven't been having any problems with it lately, but it could be troublesome at any point in time, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. There's a real troublesome tripod way.
Nah, this was on my desk, so I wasn't really using it.
Hmm.
This is just trying to get it a little even. Is this a little crooked?
Um, no, it's fine, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Not to worry.
I'll just plug in my headset. All right, I think we
No,
should be.
this is nothing serious by Marvin, but we'll have
No,
better ones.
still, you
Yeah.
know, I want it to be. Yeah, so we could talk. I think we're good to go
Huh?
now.
Okay, okay, thanks for being on my little podcast here. I
No problem at all. No problem at all.
I know well, I don't know lately, but I know at some point in time when you stopped being a supervisor, you went on to official coaching. So
Yeah, a
uh,
lot changed since then, of
uh,
course. Um,
serious, you're a
yeah, so
businessman now, drugs lord.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. um, if you want to start, I could kind of just give you some background as to what's been happening.
well, yeah, tell me
Um,
now.
yeah, sure. So you would well, you remember me from working in flow and the amount of time that I spent in that telecommunications space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think around 2017 is when I left for the whole voluntary separation scenario that they had at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually was like a inflection point in my life because um, I always had this idea that I was gonna, straight out of school, I started to work and I just worked my way up the corporate ladder and then just kind of retire with a boatload of money. That was always the that was always that was always
That's
the
the
plan.
whole American dream, day, right?
That was the plan, right? That was the plan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But over like years, I kind of moved and then things started to stall a bit. And I really
Mm-hmm.
started to question like what was happening in my life, like what I was doing, just like, being a supervisor coming in and out clocking 9 to 5. I was really starting to question it. And
Mm-hmm.
then in 2017, um, my stepdad died. He was like my father figure. He's the only person I really knew as a father. 'Cause my dad and I had a really strange relationship, and I knew him since I was like 12 to that age, which was in my 30s at that point in time. And it was sudden. He was killed, unfortunately. It was sudden, real kind of
Oh,
um, home invasion kind of scenario.
wow.
And
Sorry to hear.
yeah, yeah. So when that happened, it was really like a
It could be a
paradigm shift.
traumatizing time, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was a paradigm shift because it was like, okay, this man I knew he was always working, always had these dreams, always had these plans,
Mm-hmm.
and even in his 50s, and then boom, here today, gone tomorrow. So I kind of started to be like, all right, maybe I need to try to figure out some other things to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
And well,
and
at that point in time, it seemed like the universal line and visa was a thing,
correct.
and
And then I and
it
then I,
was
I left.
moment of
And then
truth.
yeah, and then I just took it and I said I didn't really have a plan, but I just took it and I just said, look, I need to figure out something else, but what I'm doing right now is not it.
Mm-hmm.
So my family and I, we did some traveling. I spent a month in Colombia, kind of just figuring out my life. That was a real good
Mm-hmm.
experience. And then yeah, I
What's
jumped into
Colombia?
the huh?
No, I was asking what Colombia is like, but you could ask me.
The
You could tell me
com
after.
the country, yeah, I can tell you after. It's amazing, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so so just trying to figure out my life from there. And I started the coaching thing a bit and I liked it. But it just wasn't really sustainable at the point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So so I I'd reach a point where, okay, I need to figure out like what's my next step because I still have a family, I have a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
father first. I still have a family that I want to take care of and all that, and things are moving in the direction that I wanted to move. So I kind of moved into a stage where I was doing this freelance work,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of moved into writing, which was something that I liked to do as a child, and then I kind of left it, and then I kind of started back um, writing as a form of therapy
Mm-hmm.
around that time.
Yeah.
Um, and by chance, somebody had seen my work and I was like, hey, could you write something for me? I didn't know what ghostwriting was at the time where you write for somebody else. I had no idea
Mm-hmm.
what that was. So I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
and so the person paid me to write some content for their business. I was like, hey, this is not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of did some research and started to dig up in it, and I was like, okay, there's something I could do because
Yeah.
I read a lot and I research a lot, so I started to learn about not only writing but writing for the internet and also digital marketing as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one person turned into two persons, and then that person was like, hey, I know someone who might need
Yeah.
help too, and that kind of snowballed into where I'm at right now. So
Mm.
I'm so up until from 2018 to last year, I was doing freelance writing, long form writing, short form writing for
Mm.
websites, for content, and then it kind of grew into more like a digital marketing standpoint. And I'm at a stage now where I have people working for me, so it's kind of evolved into a business where it was
Mm.
like too much work to do. I kind of got people on, trained them, and it's moving into that direction right now. We're scaling into more like a content marketing slash digital marketing business where I could help companies grow the traffic, scale.
Mm.
So I help with their blogs, I help with their website content and all
Yeah.
those things. So I have about with 4 people working with me right now. We have a good few amount of clients and things are moving pretty well right now. So that's where I'm at. I still do the coaching on the side. I still have like a couple of coaching clients, but
Yeah.
my main focus right now is just exploring a
Is
past love, which was writing, and just growing that
okay. Okay.
as a viable business.
That's really cool though. Cause I mean like doing something that is really fulfilling to you, that is the best
Mm-hmm.
thing, is best feeling anyway. And that story is like, as you're telling it, because I know you personally and I've worked with you for so long, I've seen it
Mm-hmm.
transition in a way. And
Yeah.
because we're friends on social media, and then when you tell any stories about you and your family traveling, I remember seeing you and your wife or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and your daughter in the plane. I remember you posting the pictures and wherever you were.
Yeah.
And I just seen it unfolding as you're telling me, because
Yeah.
so many things I didn't know, right? But I could still see it because I know you to an extent, right?
Right.
And
Of course.
it's funny that it's so funny that you ended up doing something like ghostwriting, digital marketing, editing, editorial type of a job, something
Mm-hmm.
that's in the wood in the wood business, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I said it's funny is because I remember when I used to write emails and send it out, you would always be nitpicky and be like, Manish. And it was because of that little uh, overseeing. I became
Mm-hmm.
a little bit better at writing my emails and more conscious of it. And I used to really read your emails, and they were like, "Damn, boy, this boy could be a good writer." Boy. is it is just so ironic in a poetic way. It's just like
Yeah.
you as a person came full circle. You know, and
Yeah. And that's how it feels. That's how it feels in terms of just getting a chance to express myself because I'm not an extroverted person by nature.
mhm,
So you won't
yeah,
see me on social media. You won't see me posting a lot of things like that. So this kind of
yeah,
helps me, still write and still describe things and still translate what's in my brain out
yeah.
without having
I
to step out of my who I truly am now, which is somebody who's still kind of still reserved in that way. Although I do see the need for it now because my business is kind of at a stage where it's stalled, and for you to
mhm,
really for you to really engage and interact and grow in this world, you have to put yourself not kind of you have to put
you
yourself
have
out
to.
there. You have
Mhm,
to put yourself out there. So it's just that's one of the biggest struggles that I have right now.
yeah.
But as you said before, it kind of become full circle in terms of me writing.
Yeah, well, everything that you want is on the other side of fear, right? And
Yeah.
um, I I have that same problem as well with you that you have, right? Basically, like, so it's like a whole tornado of words just in your mind, and they make
Hmm.
sense to you, but when you're trying to speak it and bring it into something, into like when you try to speak it in a way that is meaningful and it touches people, emotionally, and try to deliver a message. It like you're seeing it right now. You stumble on your
Mm,
words, and that's a problem that I know that I have. Like I made it a note today, like on my notepad on my desktop right there, to figure out how to or if I need coaching myself to actually find a way to speak freely without using buffer words and filter words and things like this,
yeah.
and I don't know.
I,
It's
I
not a
think,
problem with it's not a problem with the words. It's a problem with is like the way I see it is the way I rationalizing it is my mind is moving faster than my mouth could actually speak the words.
well, that was about to tell you. Um, I think that we all believe that silence is an issue.
Mm.
So if you ever look back to some of the best
Speakers.
speech speakers, orators out there, they would have these long periods of pausing where they
Mm-hmm.
could, like if you go to Obama and Martin Luther King and all these different guys, Malcolm X, all these different guys, they have these areas, even like some of the people who are online now, like Sadhguru and all these different guys, if they watch, they
Mm-hmm.
pause, they internalize, and then
Yeah.
they speak. So like
So I.
so we really think that we need to get everything out right now, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily the case. We could slow it down
Yeah.
and we could speak, from a place where we were able to formulate and then deliver.
Mm-hmm. Which is strange, right? Because I feel like I only have this problem in front of a camera, like literally only in front of a camera. Because I've done public speaking live in front of people already, right?
Hmm.
And when I when I when I'm in person, I don't have the problem. Like I could speak properly. I normally start off like my talks with a pause, just so everybody will grab their attention, just to grab people's attention.
Hmm.
And it I really wish that there was a hidden camera just to watch me speak, because it's not like I'm the best speaker in the world. It's just that I know that I'm a lot. It's two different people. And
Got you.
yeah, and I don't know. I guess when I find the secret, I'll tell you. So how your business reaching though? Like you reaching throughout the Caribbean? I think no.
Well, that's a good question. If I could tell you that none of my clients are Caribbean or local, you'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be
So
surprised at all.
so yeah, so I have no Caribbean or local clients yet. I hope to
Yet.
I hope to get there soon.
Hmm.
But it's been so much easier to engage and interact with persons either in Europe or America.
Hmm.
Specifically, most of my clients are from there.
Mm.
Because, well, a lot of them understand what I'm doing. It's more like they're coming to you with that. They already know what they want. They already know um what a blog could do for their business. They already know what content writing could do for their business. They
Yeah.
already know what search engine optimization could do for their business.
Hmm.
So it's not difficult for me to explain the value that I give to them or I provide to them.
Yeah.
Versus although I don't want to knock anybody local because that's changing a lot too. A lot of
Yeah.
people locally are understanding like it's a part of marketing. The problem is locally as well is that writing and content marketing is a long game,
Mm.
right? When you have a billboard up or you put an ad in the paper, that's sales now. You're trying to get somebody to come now and buy now. But writing is developing a relationship in text over time. It's
Hmm.
building trust with somebody over time. So when somebody is ready to make a purchase later, they'll remember the content that you gave, they remember the value that you provide, and they will be inclined to reciprocate. So so if you're not seeing that ROI immediately when you're spending from a marketing standpoint, it's
Hmm.
difficult.
Yeah.
But for others, they know. Because for example, I have a client that um we really we did a lot of work on her website. She runs a dermatology practice,
Hmm.
and I would say in 6 months, in terms of like Google traffic and so forth, we were able to like 10x her traffic, and that probably tripled her business.
Oh.
But it took it, but that didn't happen in the first month, the second month, the third month, the fourth month, the fifth month, the sixth month. It's really the seventh month it really took off.
Yeah.
So for be paying someone and not
Yeah.
seeing anything, and then so the
Boom.
ROI there is like it probably like 10x all the money she paid before. But having that foresight helps. Um,
How was it you helped
mhm.
with with how is it you helped her not drop you as a client?
Well, well, it's like I said, it's more like they already know what
They
what
know
I'm
how they
providing.
know how it is go. They know how it is going.
Yeah, they know,
Yeah.
but so you just have to make sure and set those expectations up front, saying,
Mhm.
hey, this is what we'll do. This is some realistic KPIs we could hit. These are some realistic metrics we could hit,
Mhm.
and then we work towards those metrics. So
Yeah.
if it is after, and then I try to keep things flexible. I'm not going to lock you into no contract. We work month to month. If you feel like you're not satisfied, then we could part ways, and I'll be totally fine with that.
Mhm.
So that also gives that there's no kind of friction there. There's
Mhm.
nothing locking them down to make that decision. And usually things work out better that way. And also what I find is that my customer service background
Mhm.
is perfect because you could then engage people, you could be available, you could anticipate needs,
Yeah.
you could kind of go the extra miles. All the things we learned in flow, all the things
Yeah.
I've learned in digital before flow, and
Mhm.
a little part in digital after flow because I did do a run in digital after flow.
You're a traitor. Man.
But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those things help. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so most of my clients have been external, and and ironically, I thought that with COVID and so forth, you know that things would have been like like down, but it actually was the opposite. Actually, things really picked up in 2020 and 2021. So
Mm.
I would encourage anyone out there. I'm not sure if you do it, but I encourage anyone out there to start some kind of freelancing work or freelance career because as you would see, people going back to work right now in the States and Europe and different places like
Mhm.
that. A lot of people don't want to go back to work because they've realized that they could work a particular schedule, they could work their own time, and they could work on the projects that they like. And that's
Yeah.
basically the equivalent of freelancing, that you could, work on the things that you want to work on, work with the people that you want to work with. But of course, there's not that stability of a job, but
Yeah.
you kind of get to build your own ladder. So remember I was
Mhm.
talking about climbing the corporate ladder before.
Well, yeah.
Now I'm building
So,
my own. Now I'm building my own ladder.
well, not a lot of people have that type of resilience or resourcefulness to actually do that. Eh? I mean,
That's right. That's right.
and even like with myself, right? I know that I am weak in certain areas, right? So digital marketing,
Mm,
I'm not the best, right? So I've been using the same hashtags on Instagram for like the past few years. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I know even ashamed to say that. I mean, I
That's
know
that's fine.
I've been lazy with it, but I mean, I just trying to let the thing grow as natural as it could. I mean, the
Yeah.
Instagram thing isn't like the main attraction. You know, it's just something. It's just something to know that I want to keep some posts out there, and you have to keep building. This you have to keep walking this road.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do little things. It's the little things that make up the big things. And
Of
it's
course.
really interesting that your clients are mostly external to the Caribbean, and this is a problem that I have specifically, right? Me as an individual who wants to become a certified life coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
That nobody knows what a life coach is. Nobody knows what a life coach does. Nobody has even heard of a life coach. I explained what I do to like people at the gym who just talking, meeting people, things, and oh, they were like they heard motivation speaker, and
Yeah. I
I
think
was like, no, listen, I could do that. It's not something that I would identify as. but uh, yeah, yes or no?
I I think a lot of us have that issue too because um, we can't really position ourselves that way. And I was having that issue as well. And when I made a little change to how I was like pitching or telling people what I did,
Hmm.
it helped a lot. So using like the term life coach or using the term coach, it helps, but a lot of people, like you rightly say, wouldn't understand it. But if you kind of craft how you solve the actual problem, then it's different.
Hmm.
So instead of being a life coach, you could be like, I help stuck individuals do Y, or I help um, this these type of people who have this problem with the relationship have a better relationship, or
Hmm.
I help you know these people who have issues saving money become better savers. So you
Yeah.
see, it's like problem solution
Hmm.
versus just being like, hey, I'm a life coach. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so everybody has issues, everybody has problems. But I think we just need to position ourselves in a way that we can solve the actual problem. Um,
Mm.
that helps a lot. So
I
maybe
agree.
it's something that you should look at, figure
Mm.
out, what do you do? What's the actual problem that you're solving?
Yeah.
Rather than, and once you position yourself as the person who could solve that problem, then you'll be able to find people who have that problem and put yourself in front of that person, and then it
Mm.
becomes easier that way. I'm speaking from the digital marketing that I've been doing over the last couple of years, where
Yeah.
you know we would craft specific content for specific readers. So we're not gonna. Let me give you an example. If you're writing, let's say you're writing about exercise or exercising.
Hmm.
Um, if you write uh, exercise weightlifting is general. Anybody could weightlift. There's different types of weightlifting. There's
Hmm.
different, ways and manners and CrossFit and this and that and all of the other.
Yeah.
But if you write a article saying how to get rid of your man boobs, for example, that's very
Oh,
specific.
yeah.
Somebody has that specific problem, and you
Hmm.
have a solution for that specific problem.
Yeah.
So now, if I write that and I put it in front of the people who have that specific problem,
Mm.
then they'll be more likely to buy my coaching or be more likely to buy my product because I've been able to convince them that I could solve that particular problem.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds really clickbaity though, but I mean, I know,
There's,
but I understand,
no,
but I understand what you mean.
it does, and a lot of people say that a lot of writing sounds listicles and how tos and clickbaity, but you have to use what works,
Yeah, yeah.
and it works. It people wouldn't use it if it didn't work at all. So you kind of have to go where the people are. You can't expect
Hmm.
people to come to you. You can't build it and they will come. You have to go where
Yeah.
they are, and you kind of have to speak their language and then
Mm.
get them over. It's raining by me, so I hope you're not hearing that.
Sort of, but it's fine.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. I I want to get your opinion on like why it is. Well, all right. So let me just share my whole thoughts here, right? So like
Yep.
with 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 COVID,
Mm-hmm.
there's a big shift in people's livelihoods, right? In the terms in the sense that people are working from home now. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't have jobs, right? So either way,
Correct.
if it is that you're not lucky to be on the outside working, you're either home. That
Mm.
is probably your only option. Um, so if it is your home, you're probably working from home, you have internet connection. You're probably home bored, you're not working, you have internet connection. Probably getting it from
Mm.
your neighbor or something, right? And
Got you.
and a lot more people are online now. There's a lot more traffic, and I think with that, well, I can't think. I mean, it is a fact that there's a lot more content being viewed, right? I mean, TikTok has been on the rise. Look at how much TikTok stars we have in Trinidad right now, right? That you're seeing on these meme pages and on Facebook and Instagram and them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, how is it that these people they go about gaining a natural like an organic growth uh, by themselves as opposed to someone that takes that contracts you to help them? What is the difference? Like that basically does it. What's the difference?
Well, there's a few factors that line up.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's the platform, right? One of the biggest reasons that TikTok is blowing up is because it's relatively new, and there's also a lot of ease of use, so it's easy for you to get started on it, so and so forth. So you might think it have maybe 10, 20, hundreds, 100 million people on TikTok right now. But if you compare that to the landscape that is Facebook or Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
there's still a fraction of that. So you have something called early mover. So you're early mover. Think of it. Let me give you an example. Let's say on Curep, on the southern main road in Curep.
Yeah.
Let's say there was no doubles vendors on the southern main road of Curep, and all of a sudden you came and you erect the very first double stand in Curep.
Yeah.
People eat your doubles, they like doubles. People started coming in droves.
Mm-hmm.
Come in droves. Other people see, hey, you're making money. Other people start to
Yeah.
erect. So now you have a bunch of doubles vendors on the southern main road and it's saturated somewhat,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it'd be much harder for you to go on Facebook, which is, in my analogy, the equivalent of the southern main road that's saturated right now, versus
Yeah.
TikTok, which is
Yeah.
not as saturated right now.
Yeah. It's
So
brand
yeah, so even though it's still a year plus, almost 2 years plus, it's
Yeah,
still
that's
brand
still
new.
new. That's still brand new. Yeah, I
It's still
mean,
brand new.
a lot of
So
people a lot of people like the like
yeah,
how they
the
feel like
novelty,
from
the
yeah
novelty.
the novelty from and it's a lot of instant gratification thing because you get to
Yeah.
explore something like you said, this novelty. You get to explore a whole new terrain.
Secondly, it's very much like, I'm not sure if you remember Vine back in the day.
Yeah, remember Vine.
So very much like that, where you could just instantly put something out, and the people who are really doing well are the ones who are being themselves, that's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Those are people who will take off. So that's a big part. The first part is being an early mover. The second part is being genuine,
Mm-hmm.
and the third part is being consistent. And there's a fourth part of it, being consistent, because as for example, you're starting a podcast, and I'm not sure if you know these stats with respect to podcasters, but 95% of podcasters stop podcasting after the sixth episode.
Really?
Yeah. So people would get accustomed to them the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time, and then they disappear. So the people who are around are the ones who are consistent and the ones
Mm-hmm.
who stay the course for years. You might know Joe Rogan as like the most popular podcaster, but if you go back to 2009 when he was podcasting, it was in a room, a real janky room with one
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah. I
If
saw
you
the
watch out,
videos. Yeah.
look, yeah, and because it's really because if you stick around long enough, somebody will be like, all right, here, hold this money. It's like it's like a BD universe into submission.
Yeah.
It's like a BD universe into submission. It's like, all right, you're really mean business. So like,
Yeah.
all right, here. So it's those things. It's the people who are consistent,
Mm-hmm.
and the people who move quickly, and the people who are themselves would get that organic growth. There's another factor. Um, there's another factor which is quantity. So there's a saying from Chanel, which is, if I can't impress you or overwhelm you with my quality, I'll overwhelm you with my quantity.
Mm.
Meaning that they will just put as much stuff out there as possible. Netflix
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
Netflix just puts a whole set of nonsense out there. And the thing
Yeah.
is, they'll just have one shadow and bone, or one something. One thing will click, and that one
Yeah.
thing will make up for all the money that they've spent on
Mm.
everything else. But they've just put stuff out, put stuff out, put stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
So those are your factors. Quantity, being consistent, moving early, and being yourself. I think
Mm.
that happens. And once you do those things, then you could add on all the little content hacking and all the growth hacking,
Mm.
all those different things. But you can't do the growth hacking first. You can't put the cart before the horse. So you
Yeah.
can't do all the growth hacking and all the hashtag and all the black hat stuff if you're not yourself,
I feel like I listening to Gary V video like.
oh, I don't know. That wasn't my intention, but
No,
you
no,
can't
no,
do. You
but
have to
no,
do
but
all those things. You have to do all
I
those
meant
things
it. I
first
meant it as a
before.
compliment.
You have to do all those things first before you can even start adding on the accoutrement, all the little nice stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that kind of covers that. But to touch on what you were saying, and that's something I would love us to kind of touch on all this. You were talking about people home and there's people not working and so forth, and how difficult that is right now. For me, I really didn't expect, and and a lot of people had struggles and still struggling and going through some really tough times, but things didn't go that way for me, and I'm really
Hmm.
happy and grateful for that. And and it also came down to just, all right, trying to figure out like what you can do when you're home, and what you can
Mm.
how you can actually start to earn money and start to make a living while you're home. And everybody has a talent, everybody has a skill, and you just need to find people out there that you could give that skill and provide that skill in exchange for that value. So
Yeah.
that was a big thing for me this round. Just kind of putting myself out there, going on LinkedIn, going on different blogs, blogging and writing and so forth, and
Hmm.
also going on websites where I could apply for freelance jobs and so forth. And those
Hmm.
those those things came back, and I was able to kind of um sustain myself and even kind of grow and thrive during this period. So a lot of people who are home and still not knowing when they'll be able to go out and probably find work or how, I would suggest starting to research how to
Remote
freelance,
jobs and whatnot. Yeah.
remote jobs, remote and freelancing. And I could help with that. I actually have a resource I could probably share it with you. Something that I wrote, I could probably share it with you that you could share with your audience. I'll
Yeah.
give it to you for free, and you can share with your audience. But um, yeah, so I think one of the biggest obstacles that we've had in Trinidad though is figuring out a
Mm.
way to get paid. It's really
Yeah.
difficult for you to get paid, from somebody in the States to pay you. Yeah, I have
Hmm.
PayPal, but then PayPal didn't connect well to our banks and all the different stuff like that. So a lot of those things have changed.
Hmm.
So if you go out, you realize it have like WePay, and then we now have all of these Visa cards and different things like that. So it's a lot easier for you to reach out to somebody, go on a freelance site, go on a Fiverr site, or go on Upwork, or go on these other different sites, and find someone,
Yeah.
exchange that value and get
Hmm.
paid, because now we have that connectivity here. So
Mm.
so I would encourage that, because you're still home, and you might be able to build something out of it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, the experience of failure is sometimes priceless.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
then and then to yeah, and then to I it's really I don't want to talk like this is something that was easy,
hmm,
because when you've worked as long as I have, since I'm 18, I've been working. Since I'm 19, I've been some kind of managerial role. So
hmm,
it was really difficult to unlearn those behaviors of, damn, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, I'm not making any money, I'm not making any money, I need a job. Um, that's really hard to do, because like, how how could you I how could I tell somebody go do this when they can't really see past, you know, paying
yeah,
paying for rent, or buying food, or paying Pampers on, and so forth. It's really difficult. So I had to like go through a lot of like unlearning, and real heartache, and real not making, and scraping for rent and different things. I had to go through like real stuff before it was like, okay, you know, I could put my energies through here, and things will align and it will work out. But you really
mm,
have to undo a lot of things. Even when you're doing it on the side, even if it is you're working and you're still trying to do it as a side hustle, you're still not too sure, and you still have to undo a lot of real, like, you know 9 to 5. Like, I need to have this, and like, it's really hard to undo that, and it took me a good year to undo that. Like 2018 was like a
hmm,
lot of failure, whole failure, into 2019, a lot of failure, because you're still wasting. I won't say but spending time trying to like go and apply for anything and do different things and just like stressing.
Yeah.
When you really could just, put your efforts into it. And if it doesn't work, then fine. But you put all your efforts into this one thing, you burn the boats and you go and put your efforts into this one thing, and then it snowballs somewhere.
Yeah. A lot of people just have that problem, burn any boat so
Yeah,
hard.
it's
I
hard,
mean, because
it's hard.
you
It's
see
really hard.
is a trap, you see, because not a lot of people willing to sacrifice that security, and
Yeah, yeah.
is extremely difficult, right? And
But but
even me, I fall back, and I have weak moments, and is sinking regrets, and all these things, and it's like, did I really make the right decision? I could have had,
yeah,
had I not done this, I would have had a better life doing the thing I was doing before.
yeah.
I
It
mean, it
feels
would have
that
been
way.
the
Yeah,
same. I would have had well, that's the thing, like that's the thing. Your mind playing tricks on you because you don't really know. You don't really know because
yeah,
you're reminiscing and you're thinking of how your life could have been based um, on empirical data, but you don't know the factors of what that life would have been had you stayed. You had the mental stress, like because you're left for a reason, right?
yeah,
And
yeah. But
you know more than anybody else. When you don't follow your heart, it really puts a
and
different types of
I have
strain
a
on you.
story. I have a story for that. It's like when you're not walking in your purpose, or you're not
Mhm.
you're not following where your mind and your gut and your heart should be. You
Yeah,
know, that messes with you because, I think and this always happens when you're about to turn a corner. Always happens when you're about to turn a corner. So 2018 was really hard. Struggle. And 2019, I think I really got my first client where I felt like, okay, I could eat rice and beans now. I really got that first client. And then um around that time, like this is like the middle of 2019. Um a friend of mine from Digital I used to work at called me. He was
Mhm.
like, hey, um, or you come and work for me, or you come, come wherever. And the thing is, he had set that up since December of 2018, but it just
Mhm.
never came through. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, when I started to feel a little bit of a runway, boom, this job come. It's
Yeah,
higher, would have been the highest role ever, ever kind of worked before, you know, it would have been
yeah.
able to move. It was like,
And
it
it
was
was digital,
seeing,
so there's
it
paying you.
was, yeah, it was seeing, uh, it was seeing, it was seeing, it was seeing like it was seeing the growth and that I was trying to achieve back in 2017 and before.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go. And so I did. I went, and I think after the first month, I was like, this is not for me. After the first month, and it was like it was
Well,
not nothing with the people. The people were nice.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I bleed red. As much as I was a flow person, I bleed red. I mean, that's where I started my career. So there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with the space. Uh, it was just it was just in my gut and my soul that this was like, I was just getting up, going to work, and just like, it just wasn't feeling right. And,
Mhm.
um, and then it really hit me that I was still coming home and I was still doing I was still doing my freelance work. I was still helping my clients and so forth. And, and then probably second month when I was in, I looked at my payslip
Mhm.
and I was like, wow, I was like, okay. And then I looked at the amount of money that I brought in for freelancing,
Yeah.
and I brought in the same amount of money working a portion of the time. So
Mm.
I was like, what are you doing with yourself? With
Yeah.
yourself?
Mhm.
And then I left. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, no, this is what you need to be doing. You need to figure out how to build something for yourself. I need
Oh,
to
your
walk
friend
in your
take that news though.
purpose that way. Well, well, he was my friend first. So he was like, all right, cool.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That was my friend.
Mhm.
And a lot of people that I started to work with, they use the term self-awareness. It was
Mhm.
like, wow, I wish I was that self-aware.
Mm.
And I didn't even think of it as self-awareness that time. I just thought of it like, yeah,
Chasing a
nah,
dream, following your heart.
yeah, nah, that's not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been good ever since. So yeah, it's stressful, but it's your stress, and it's a type of stress that you have. So yeah, you still have bills, and you still have to worry about different things. You still have to worry about your own taxes, your own health, your own
Hmm.
this, your own that, your own whatever.
Hmm.
But you kind of get to
Well,
forge your own path.
well, that's the thing, right? As you mentioned, is your stress, right?
Hmm.
Um, man could bear any load as long as they get to choose it, you know. And I learned that from Jordan Peterson, and I was like, that really
Yeah,
stuck to
good
me,
guy.
you know. And
Love.
yeah, great guy. I'm gonna buy his book, but I haven't gotten around to reading any of the other books that I have here yet. I'm still trying to finish this book here for the longest while. Let me just show you. Think and Grow Rich. If I can
Oh,
see it properly. Yeah.
think I'm rich. Yeah.
Um, this is
Have you it's funny like have you reached there's a chapter in Think and Grow Rich that is totally dedicated to your 40s, as in when you're age 40. So I don't know if you've reached there yet.
no, I didn't reach it yet.
So there's an entire chapter dedicated to your 40s, and Napoleon Hill was saying that basically like your life and your career and your success really happens then.
Mm.
So we put a bunch of effort and time into thinking when we need to get everything done right now,
Hmm.
but it's like a gradual, slow grind. So for
Well,
me, it's like,
by the time you're 40, right? Like you said earlier in the talk, right?
mm,
About being consistent, right?
yeah,
Let's say you start at 20, and by the time you reach 40, had you been consistent, um,
you're being the
you,
top 1% of the world probably in
well,
what you do,
well, well,
in what you
the
do.
thing is, you actually built a legacy. You built an
Yeah,
empire, right? So you have the right to stand at the top.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So
So
for
I
so
mean,
for you for so for you so for me, I'm thinking like, how can I do this for 10, 15 years when I hit my 40s? For you, for like a podcast, you shouldn't be thinking about now. It should be 10, 15 years, because as I gave you that stat earlier, everybody has fallen 95% of podcasters fall. So if
mhm,
you in 10 years you will be wherever you want. Nobody could touch you from there. But it's
yeah,
just that we just want everything right now, and we don't see that right now, and
instant
that's really hard.
gratification. Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
hard. I mean, everything is set up, Facebook and marketing and Instagram and everything is just set up for us to get it now, and it's
Mhm,
really hard. It's hard for me too. It's
mhm.
really hard.
Is it based on like is it extra hard based on region from
No,
your
this have nothing to do with region. It have nothing
mm,
to do with it have nothing to do with stand. It have nothing to do with race. It have nothing to do with anything like that. It's just that
mhm,
everybody wants um everybody wants something right now. Everybody wants it right now.
mhm.
And it's just the people who know it's a marathon and not a sprint. Those are the people who really
Yeah,
focus on
is
here, focus on
yeah
here. Those
it
people are the ones who get in
well I
whatever field.
is the infinite game, right? Is not even a race. Is the infinite game is that's from Simon Sinek. You
Simon
know him?
Sinek, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Sinek
So
start with
he
why,
talk start with
yeah,
what, yeah. So he says that you can't play a limited uh, a game theory, right? You can't play a limited game
mm,
for infinite business that you in your mind you wanted to continuously grow, but in your philosophy is like you're running a race, you're running a marathon, and
mm,
you're only thinking short term in the sense that I want to win all the time. You're not always gonna win. You
mm,
know, you're not always gonna win. Sometimes the other guy is gonna win, and
yeah,
sometimes you're gonna win. But the point is that you have to keep going. You know, you have to keep growing, and you have to keep developing yourself to do the things that the old you could not do.
yeah. So that's
And
funny. Like, sorry, that's I just got a thought there. That's now we're talking about you won't win all the time. I was watching a talk on YouTube, and the guy was saying that for baseball, is a baseball analogy. He's like, for you to become the best baseball hitter, slugger, striker, whatever of all time,
mhm,
you need to be between 35 and 40% of your hits. So you realize, right? So out of every 10, you had to hit three
mm,
to become
okay,
Hall of Fame great. So that means you're gonna
okay,
miss seven times.
Mm.
So it's like
Well,
everybody wants,
yeah,
no?
yeah, yeah.
So
No, no,
everybody
I know
wants
understand
to,
what you're saying.
yeah, so everybody wants, like you rightly say, to win, win, win,
Yeah.
win, win.
Yeah.
But it don't always happen like that, and you'll have more losses than wins. But if you play in the right game, as you rightly say, the wins will always outweigh the losses in terms of value.
Mm. In terms of value, yes, I'm glad that you said that about because y- you're gonna have a lot more losses than
Yeah,
wins, but the wins are gonna be a lot more heavier than the losses at the end.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is the type of podcast that I want to have, right? So it's like about having some more meaningful conversations, having some talks about personal growth. About
Mhm.
eventually, I want to be able to host events where I can talk to people live, do coaching,
Yeah.
do this fabled motivational talks that people think that I do, and create a culture change. Because honestly, like I want to live in a place that I don't want to feel like I have to run from, right? And
Yeah. And that's your vision. That's an amazing vision to have.
that's not even the
Like,
visions. That is the secondary vision.
wow.
I mean, yeah, um, that's just something that I want to do while I'm here, and that's something that I could do remotely on the go as well, like right now, right? So
Hmm.
like it doesn't matter where I am around the world, as long as I get a guest to speak and push it out to wherever. Hopefully,
Hmm.
my content manager Marvin Marcano could help me out, hook me up. But
You see?
um, if things sometimes things happens at their time, but it'll happen at your time if it is that you push, you know. Um,
Yeah, what's happening
but
at the right time. Correct.
I kind of running low on time right now because I kind of have to go. But that's why I wanted to start earlier. No. But it was
Yeah, I
really
got
nice
you.
talking to you, Marvin. But where people can find you? I know you have your business. This is your cheap plug. Do plug.
Well, well, right now you can get me at my Instagram or Facebook if you want to like direct message me, Marv_Marcano. My business right now, I'm doing a website redesign right now, but my business is Ascend content. Um, so Ascend content. We do everything from not really everything, but we really do two things. So I wouldn't say everything. We do two things. We specifically do content writing. So if you want to write long form blogs, short form blogs, um,
Mhm.
website copy, etc., that content writing for online. And then I also do something called search engine optimization, which is more or less positioning your business for growth on YouTube, on Google, sorry, on YouTube.
Mhm.
Not really YouTube much more, but more Google. So helping you rank first page, second page, more first page on the search
Yeah.
engine results. So those are really two things that I have. So you can find me on LinkedIn, MARV Marcano. You can find me at uh, Instagram, MARV_Marcano. You can find me on Facebook, same thing. And
And you can find him
you
through
can
me
you
as
can
well.
get me at Marvin at ascendcontent.com.
Mm. All right,
Okay,
great.
so
Um, any last
yeah, this was
words?
good. Yeah, I really like that we take a crack at this again, because I think there's a lot of things that we
No, no,
probably
definitely. Like I
we probably
there's
we probably
there's lots of
haven't touched.
guests that there are lots of guests that I want to have that they will definitely be repeat guests, right?
Yeah.
As long as you have something interesting and we could share ideas
Yeah,
and
I
topics
think I think
and talk.
I think what I'd love to do is kind of elaborate more on how someone could start their own freelancing career.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think for people who are home or so forth, they'll probably just want to know like, okay, do one, two, three, four, five, and then it just gets set up, and this is how you could get clients set up, kind of like a 30-minute kind
Tutorial,
of masterclass tutorial,
like
something
I
like that.
talk.
We could probably do something along those lines, and people could take that information and kind of just run with it. That way they could
Hmm.
still get some value out of what you're giving in terms of like even monetary value. They could, find a client, do
Yeah,
some freelance work, etc., etc. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
that'd be really good. We could arrange to get that done soon, and
Yeah, sure.
some things take planning. And I have
Yeah,
a couple of
yeah.
guests. I have a couple guests that I need to get
Soon
to
come, soon come.
yeah, soon come, like my Jamaican friends will say.
Uh,
um,
correct.
we will talk. Thanks, Marvin.
No problem.
We will see you again. And thanks for being on Unfiltered. Bye.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.